It is highly recommended that before viewing this production, you should properly tune your brainwave frequency by shifting into alpha and theta levels. This will adjust the neurosynaptic balance of dopamine and serotonin, increase the firing of neurons, and dilate and sharpen your external optical and oral receptors, thus ensuring optimum sensory reception. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I don't know who you are, or if I can even trust you. You may be one of them. There's no way for me to know for sure. So I guess I'll just have to take that chance and hope that you're human, like me. And if you are, you probably won't believe me anyway. But I guess it really doesn't matter what you believe. It only matters that I tell my story, and maybe someone somewhere will know that what I say is the truth. I'm not sure where to begin, so I guess I'll just start from the beginning. I'm Detective Gus Perez, Vice Squad for the Hillsborough County Police Department, Tampa, Florida. My beat is the out-of-the-way places like Gibsonton, Gibtown they call it, where all the circus freaks live. And then there's the deceit and corruption that lies beneath the well-manicured lawns of the upper-middle-class suburbs of Carrollwood, Town and Country, and Temple Terrace. It's like turning over a rotten log and seeing the scum that lives underneath. And then there's Brandon, a busy community of shopping malls, food joints, and upwardly mobile subdivisions, surrounded on its outskirts by nude bars and cow pastures. Brandon, that's where the retired Officer Jamie lives. I guess it all began with him. It was on a day several weeks ago that Officer Jamie's friends were fishing at one of the local ponds. Little did I know that we were all going to become involved with something far stranger than anything discussed on George Norray's Coast to Coast AM radio show. We were about to encounter the overlords of the legendary Illuminati, whose secret order of initiates form the hidden government that rules all the nations of this world. The true puppet masters who pull the strings that have orchestrated all the major political events throughout history. These overlords are the ones Theosophist Helena Blavatsky alluded to as the hidden masters, and horror writer H.P. Lovecraft called the Cthulhu and the Old Ones. They were referred to in Sumerian and Babylonian texts as the Anunnaki. To the ancient Egyptians, they were extraterrestrial gods from the dog star Sirius, who built their pyramids and to whom they paid homage. In the pre-flood books of the Bible, they were named the Elohim and their offspring the Nephilim. Any way you looked at it, we were dealing with evil draconic mutations. Genetically, they may have appeared human, but they were far from it. Their cells contained reptilian DNA. They were nothing less than Lucifer's fallen angels, come to Earth in their spaceships to harvest our souls and create their new world order. They were here to create hell on Earth. It all began on Marsh Lake, where 50 years ago a mad scientist living at the old Willows place by the swamp had conducted experiments to create a race of supermen through the harnessing of atomic energy, leaving the area contaminated with a glowing residue of radiation. Prostitution may be the world's oldest profession, but grave robbing probably runs a close second. From ancient Egypt to the heyday of the 19th century resurrectionists, and even now as we enter the 21st century, the grave robbers are still with us. Their endurance in the face of societal disgust and condemnation is as tough as the dried leather hides of the corpses they exhume. And now, in our modern age, new evidence of their activity was abundant. That next morning, Officer Jamie drove out to the cemetery where the grave robbing had been taking place and met with the caretaker to discuss the gravity of this recent discovery. But these were no ordinary grave robbers, and this was not your common everyday teenage vandalism or skull and bones style fraternity prank. Jamie knew it could quite possibly be the work of the true forces of darkness, denizens from the depths of space, fourth-dimensional parasites manifesting themselves in physical reality through vortices existing within the lower levels of the astral plane, the crack between the two worlds. These astral vortices were the portals, the gateways that had been opened to our world by the sorcery of the ancients, who foolishly sought to tame and harness the cyclonic power and psychic energy radiated by these spinning divas of light. These invaders were not only of flesh and blood, they were shapeshifters, masters of illusion, fluidly adept initiates in the art and science of magic. Little did they know they were being watched by the all-seeing eye of the enemy, but these magical predators were in no way the glorious benefactors of humankind. They were inherently evil entities, driven by the insatiable hunger to feed off of our life force. It was their agenda to enslave souls of the people of the earth, both living and the dead. Reports were coming in from across the Florida peninsula, as well as the entire nation, about unusual animal behavior. Birds had lost their ability to navigate, crashing into windows. Wild animals were turning up in suburban neighborhoods, mutilated victims of some form of perverse surgery. Rumors of cult activities and strange pagan rituals were on the rise.
We seen a bunch of lights up in the sky.
But what was even more disturbing was the reported sightings of zombies, the walking dead. Former Governor of California, Jerry Brown, listened intently to eyewitness reports from the frightened citizens. Even the former President Bill Clinton began speaking in public as a special citizen advisor on the new threat of domestic terrorism, a terror orchestrated by the intelligences from beyond our Earth. No one was safe any longer. Take, for instance, the best-selling author and popular late-night talk radio host Art Bell. When Bell turned up missing from his home in Pahrump, Nevada, there was much speculation among his fans that he had been abducted by aliens, especially when a man turned up in Florida claiming to be Art Bell. Only in this case, the so-called imposter in question appeared to be at least 25 years younger than the man he claimed to be. When confronted with this fact, his only explanation was that the aliens had reversed his aging process using a device called the solaric ray. Needless to say, the authorities dismissed his story as the product of a deranged mind. Friends say they still find him staring at the stars night after night, awaiting the return of his abductors, hoping one day to resume his previous life of celebrity. A few months ago, I would have considered his story absurd, but now I'm not so sure. No one was safe from the impending doom, not even innocent children and the mothers that loved them.
Sleepy?
So that's my story. It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. Do you?
Excuse me, do I what?
You do believe me, don't you? You've got to believe me. I've got to get better and get out of here. I've got to stop them. You just got to believe me.
I'm ready for you to take him away.
So where should we take him?
Take you down below. With the others, we can't afford to have him in the general population.
Doctor, you do believe me, don't you? Take me away. Who are these people? I gotta get out of here. I've gotta stop them.
Take it easy. Hold him, James. It'll be okay, pal. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Hold him, James. I gotta keep that arm straight. One under. Yeah, I think it's working, James. Yeah, he's under. He's sedated. Go ahead and drop that side, James. We'll get him out. Come on, big boy. Oh, yeah, there we go.
I don't want to go Mars. You gotta let me out of here. I gotta get out of here. I don't want to go.
Crystal, you need to get over with the others. James, hold him just. Crystal, come with me, sweetie. Come with me, sweetie. You gotta go back to the others.
Just relax.
Trouble doesn't scaring Crystal again. He's come on, Crystal. I won't let him.
You guys now? He's coming. Get in there.
It's okay. You made him upset. Look what you did. I'm very upset with you. I'm very upset with you.
Okay. Come on. Got him. What is it? Bricks. Come on. Come on, guys.
Let him
Pick
back.
your feet up. Come on.
Tell me I saw it.
Andrew, get in there. Go. Hold it a second. Get him off me. Get in there. Get him off me. Andrew, go. Get him off. Go. Get in there. Go. Go.
Get him off.
Get.
Just get one off.
I'll deal with you in a minute.
What?
Get.
Just get one off.
I'll deal with you in a minute. Go. Come on.
Johnny's heavy.
Come on. What do they get from him?
They're coming again.
God, it's like a ton of bricks.
Ask Officer James.
Yeah.
Where's the vampires? The aliens.
Come on. Yes, come on. Get up. Come on. Get up. Come on. Get up.
Started at the
Come on.
on.
Get up.
On. Give the officer Jamie a
Come
call.
on. Shut
I'll
up.
tell you.
Don't worry about it.
It's
Take
true.
your feet up. Come on.
They're coming.
Come on.
Forget about it. You gotta listen to me.
Forget about it.
Wait.
What? Give it to me.
Isn't that the doctor? Jamie will back me up.
Oh, whatever.
I could have sworn I saw you. Listen to me. You gotta listen to me.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't see anything. Come on.
It's your mind playing tricks on you.
Call Officer Jamie.
Yeah, whatever.
Who said I saw it back there?
You didn't see anything.
Tell me I saw it. You're just delusional. Show you gotta give Officer Jamie a call. Yeah, whatever. Come back.
The production you have just watched is fiction, but brain robbers are real. They are the corporate media who feed off your attention. They are the state-sanctioned institutions who program your mind. They are your government. They are the international financiers. They are the super-rich global elite. They are the New World Order. And they are your masters. But only if you remain ignorant and cooperate with their agenda. The New World Order wants you. Do you really want it? These are the most important questions we should ask. To whom does the New World Order answer? And who or what is its master? Repression is a fact. History is written by the oppressors, not the oppressed. Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison are names with whom you are familiar. They are common names in our history texts. But what about Nikola Tesla, Edison's equal and forgotten rival who claimed to be able to tap into an unlimited source of free energy which could have revolutionized the world were it not for the political and financial repression of J.P. Morgan and his spirit of greed? Tesla died in obscure poverty. My father, who studied electrical engineering at MIT and the University of Kentucky in the 1940s, was never taught about Tesla. What is wrong with this picture? And then there is the enigma of Ed Leedskanen, the solitary builder of South Florida's incredible coral castle, who claimed to have discovered the technology by which the Egyptian pyramids were built. He labored alone in the middle of the night, moving stones that weighed tons without any evidence of cranes or fulcrums. He worked in secret with no known witnesses. Even the government agents who visited him couldn't beat the secret out of him, though they nearly killed him. And there are others. Alexander Sasha Shulgin, modern alchemist extraordinaire, whose multitude of mind-altering compounds are totally unknown to the public at large. These neurotransmitters could be revealing the mysteries of consciousness were it not for our government's repression of such research. They don't want you to understand how to operate your brain. Patrick Flanagan was 14 years of age in 1958 when he invented the neurophone, a transmission device which uses carrier waves to transmit words to the brain of a target individual. It took him years to receive his patent, and then only when it was demonstrated that his invention was able to transmit signals that could be heard inside the minds of the deaf. This telepathy technology is currently being used, but by whom? Wouldn't you like to know? All of these men are people you should have heard of, but probably haven't. Make no mistake, there are many more you will never know of or hear of. The New World Order does not want you to be aware of these scientists and their discoveries. The less you know, the better for their agenda. Is that okay with you? You have been taught Orwellian newspeak. It is a language of contradictions and oxymorons. What you believe to be reality is a relative concept. In quantum terms, it is a point of observation among an infinite array of possible probabilities. But what is truth? Relativity is a truth, but truth is not relative. It is absolute. Were it relative, it would not be truth. Rather, it would be a point of observation. Your brain is an organic receiver, computer, transmitter. They control you with their media and electronics through manipulation of symbols, sound, rhythm, and verbal language. These elements impose structure and boundaries upon your perception and your mentation. This is reinforced by your choice of what you put into your body and brain, which is usually what you have been told you should and are allowed to consume to be a healthy, happy, and socially adjusted and accepted member of their coveted social pecking order. The question is, who is doing the telling and what is their agenda? Who owns your sensory receptors? Who owns your body? It is all about control. Now is the time to take control of your own brain. Currently, illegal psychedelics and pathogens, when used with knowledge and understanding of their inherent spiritual healing and deprogramming properties, allow the individual to chemically suspend early childhood neurosynaptic behavioral imprints and the neural networks of lifelong Pavlovian conditioned responses and start fresh. You can be who you want to be, not who they want you to be. Through this medicinal and liberating gift of the Creator, you can be aided in becoming free. Alternate states of consciousness are your birthright. They are a legitimate function of survival, learning, and pleasure, and they are hardwired into your brain. Visionary ability is necessary for the progress and betterment of our species and civilization. These higher centers of awareness belong to you. The God-given right to choose the quality of your neural reality has been stolen by your keepers. They want to protect you from yourself. They seek to control the masses through imposing guilt and a warped sense of loyalty to their cause. Anyone who disagrees and chooses to individually or collectively act on a personal belief system not sanctioned by them is labeled a criminal and a threat to society. Just how dangerous are you? We are free agents and they are denying us the experience of life. Wake up and smell your confinement. End the fascist prohibition and repression now. Refuse to accept their laws and propaganda. Refuse to support their partnership for a thought-free world.
gonna ruin your face. And I'm not gonna take it anymore.